I'm going to share with you my 5 worst luxury purchases. They are strong words. It's not necessarily that I'm saying that there's any one of these things that I wish I didn't buy. There are a few, but it's more that for the money, the quality of the product has really let them down, and I want to share it with you in case you are also looking to get one of these items so that you can be informed. The first item, it pains me to say it, but the first item is the Chanel Boy. The bag itself, I love the design of it, and I always have done. But one of the big disadvantages to this bag is if you buy it in the lambskin. The lambskin is a very, very soft leather, and a leather that marks up incredibly easily. It marks, it scuffs, it wears. It is not a good material to get a bag in, but it's particularly bad material to get this bag in, because this bag features these sort of sharp square edges. With that leather on them, that leather just wears straight through. Even all along here, when you're wearing the bag over your shoulder and your arms rubbing on it, that material there wears out, and I can already start to see sort of through the black coating on the top through to the material underneath. This is the old large size. When I got this in 2014, I'd wanted this bag for so long, really for so long. And at the time, you could only get it in lambskin. And it's the lambskin that lets this bag down. Lambskin, for anyone who's maybe not had any experience with it, lambskin is an incredibly thin and fragile leather. It marks up really easily, it scuffs really easily. And for that reason, particularly on the design of this bag, which features these sort of like quite sharp square edges, I don't think it's a good material to have used on it. And in fact, a sales advisor that I know who works for Chanel told me that, she actually told me this a couple of months ago. She said that because of the fragility of the lambskin, that Chanel weren't going to be using it anymore to make the Boy. Buffing and damage to the bag has just made the bag look old before its time, really, to me. When I wear this bag, although I like the design of it, I feel that it looks worn out. It looks pretty beaten up, and I have really looked after it. Now, one thing I have tried with this bag that does help in the short term is I use a polish on this bag. It's the type you can get in the supermarket that's for like shoes or leather goods. It's a clear polish and it comes in a little container with a sponge on the top. It's like a liquid. I find when I use that, because it almost conditions the leather, a lot of these scuffs are sort of masked a little bit, but they come back again and you can see them after using this bag and after the leather has sort of absorbed all of that polish that you've used. The second item is a pair of shoes, and weirdly enough in this video I've got 2 pairs of shoes. Both pairs are by Valentino, and the reason why they're both in this video is the same for both pairs. These shoes are actually from the Rockstud collection, and they're in this amazing neon pink colour. Now the problem is this. I wore these shoes once. The other shoes I'm going to show you I've probably worn like 3 times, but these particular shoes I wore once. Can you see on the back of them? Can you see the colour transfer? This actually isn't. It looks like colour transfer, and maybe it is, but it sort of is and it isn't at the same time. Let me explain. I wore these shoes once. I didn't drive the car in them. I went out to lunch and I came back. That happened, and I was devastated. This is a combination of colour transfer and also the leather being so thin and so fragile that just wearing them has worn through the pink, and you can again see, a bit like with the Chanel bag, you can see the grey undertones of the leather. For me, on a shoe like this, given the price of them, that's completely unacceptable. And I don't know why these brands don't check the material that they make these items in. For the prices that they charge, they really should be. I would expect to be able to wear a pair of shoes more than once and for that not to happen. I'm pretty sure I've got shoes from Aldo that have cost me a fraction of the price, and I've worn them a handful of times and they still look presentable. To me, these don't look good, and I'm really disappointed. I have tried to clean that off, but it's not something that is coming off, and even when I do remove some of the colour transfer, it's just taking the pink off with it, and I can see the undertone of the leather. These are actually a pair of shoes that in hindsight I wish I'd never bought, because for me, I don't want to wear these out because that doesn't look very attractive. I don't even think I could sell those. They just look unpleasant and nasty, and it's such a shame that after one wear that's happened. So for me, these were something that now I've owned them, I will know not to touch these again. Next up, and it's another pair of shoes, and again they're from Valentino, and weirdly, the thing that makes these in this video is the same as with the pink ones. It's to do with wear on the back of the heel there. So as you can see, I've probably worn these like 3 times. The first time I wore them, I bought these from Farfetch, by the way. Now these are a shoe that at the moment retail for over £700. They are not worth that money. In my opinion, the quality means they're not worth the money. They're very comfortable. If you get them in the patent, you're probably safer than anything. But my problem is with this, the material they've used for this bit around here. On the back of the heel, that same leather is used around the top here. Now, I don't know what that leather is. It feels very delicate. It feels very sort of, I want to say dry. It feels quite porous. But where they've used that leather, I wore these once. The first time I wore them, I went out to lunch. I was picked up from the house by my friend. We went out to lunch, we came back again. And when I took them off when I got home, I noticed that literally just from being sat at the table, and I probably like had my feet, my ankles crossed over or something, the colour has rubbed off the top of the leather, and you can see the sort of creamy undertone of the actual leather itself. It's happened on both shoes, and for me, I'm so glad I didn't pay the full price for them. I paid top end of 300, which is still an incredible amount of money. But for me, that is just like, on a shoe that commands that sort of price, that is not a good material to be using there, because that's gonna wear, that's gonna rub off. Next up, and it's this. I'm embarrassed to show this, it looks awful. This is the Miu Miu Vitello Luxe bag that I bought a few years ago now. This is not the sort of bag that I would ever typically buy. I like to try and buy bags that are classic, with a view to, if ever I get bored of it or there's something new I want to get something classic that if I ever want to sell it, I could get decent money for it. And when I bought this bag, I was not in the best frames of mind, and I saw it and I just liked the design of it. I liked the sort of off-duty casualness of it, and that's why I got it. But the reason why it's included in here, and this is why I've always said I won't buy a Miu Miu again, is because of the leather that they've used. The leather, as you can see, there are some marks on here. Those marks are from where I used this bag and I got caught in the rain with it. And the rain actually left marks in the leather that never really came out again. Also, this leather, when I first got it, was completely beautiful. Weirdly, the underneath of the bag, which you would expect the underneath would be the bit to go first, but the underneath looks pretty good. It's really the sides. Because of that, for me, with this bag, I wouldn't use it, because as I've mentioned, when I wear like my clothes and my shoes, I like my things to be really pristine, really clean, and to look as sharp as possible. And for me, I wouldn't want to use this again. I would even go so far as to say that because of the condition this bag's in, I think I'd struggle to sell it. Another bag that would have been in this video if I still had it, but I sold it a couple of months ago, is the Prada Saffiano tote. I had that bag in the colour called Cameo. I've done a review on it, which I'll leave below. But to me, that bag, in the long run, was not a good bag. It was very similar to the Miu Miu, and so I think Miu Miu and Prada are the same, like owned by the same people. But for me, I'm so lucky that I sold that Prada when I did and I got good money back for it, because although it was beautiful, as soon as you went to use it, the leather scuffed on all of the corners. But a bit like with this bag, the rubber started peeling off from all around the corners. And now my final item is a pair of earrings. These are from Chanel. This is like a problem that I've been complaining about for years, and I can't believe Chanel haven't done anything about it. It concerns their earrings, their costume jewellery, their rings, anything that has got pearls or stones in it. With the majority of their pieces, they don't facet in the stones or the pearls, they glue them in. And for the prices they charge, I can't believe they do it. The problem you're going to get is what you can see here, where on this earring, this one actually had it as well, but only I caught all of the stones, thankfully, and I glued them all back in. This one, I don't know where the stones have gone, so I'm sort of stuck with this earring. As soon as you start wearing the earrings and enjoying them, this starts to happen. And Chanel will fix the issue for you. If you take the earrings back in, or the ring or the bracelet, or whatever it is that you've bought that this has happened with, Chanel will fix it for you, but they need to send it back to Paris where the stones get glued back in again. For one pair of earrings that I had, they were quoting 10 weeks to do that. I then had to go back to the store once they were ready, pick them up, only for the same thing to repeat itself again. So now I don't buy any of their costume jewellery that has got any loose stones or pearls in them because they fall out. I only get the items that have got, like, they're just like one solid piece of enamel or metal. These particular earrings were near £300, and I think that in hindsight, to charge that sort of money for this quality is unacceptable. And I just wanted to let anyone know who might be considering these, or anything else, even the brooches, anything like that. These stones do fall out after a while, so be warned. I personally would avoid anything that is like this from Chanel and just get the solid metal pieces. If you've got any of these items and this has happened to you on any of these items, please share it below. I read all the comments and I'd be really interested to know whether any of these things are just me, or maybe whether it affects many of us. I'm going to do a really quick outfit of the day. My top is from Sass Bide. It's actually quite long. It's like a dress top. My watch is from Jord. This is actually a man's watch, but I'm obsessed with this watch. I wear it loads. It's an automatic, so like when you move your wrist, it like powers the watch, and it's got on there, it's got like the day, the date, the time, everything like that. I really like this watch. I've also got a coupon code for it that I'll put below. It's not an affiliate, it's just if you want to get some money off, you can use the code. My jeans that I'm wearing, I'm just wearing like blue jeans from H&M, and my lipstick details, I'll put all of that below. Thank you so much for watching. Come and join me in the next video. I'm going to link to it in that little white circle thing there. Click it and I'll see you in the next few minutes.